Hi, my name's Amy, and I'm going to be doing a quick overview of my proposed research of is there a difference in burnout experience between team and individual coaches within the NCAA? So, burnout is the buildup of mental and physical exhaustion that occurs when an individual perceives their workload to be higher than the perception of resources available to handle that workload. So, it's a bit of a seesaw. As the burnout increases, retention rates decrease, and coaches run the risk of experiencing sleep problems, social problems, isolation, relationship issues, depression, anxiety, etc., etc. And so, factors that have been found to influence the level of burnout experienced in both elite and NCAA coaches include personality, leadership, perceptions, balance, workload, level of control and autonomy, performance, and level of recovery. So there's quite a few different factors there. However, one factor that hasn't been looked at is the type of sport that the coach coaches. And that is something that the literature said was an area for future research. And thus, the purpose of this is to investigate whether there is a difference between the level of burnout the coach experiences and the type of sport they coach, specifically individual versus team sports. Hopefully, it will then provide more information as to what factors may play a role in the burnout and if they are different depending on the type of sport. So for this study, again, it is just looking at NCAA coaches, not elite coaches. It is a mixed methods cross-sectional design, so quantitative and qualitative. It is purposeful sample. It occurs in the spring semester, so we're getting winter sports and we're getting spring sports, and the collection time point will be at the end of each of their seasons, just to kind of control for time of season, which is a variable that the research says could also be a factor. So in saying that, data collection will be 2 times. It's still cross-sectional because it's just 2 different samples, and there'll be a 8-week period between that. So the participants, as mentioned, is NCAA Division One collegiate coaches. They'll be recruited via emails and word of mouth. They must have coached in the NCAA for at least 5 years. This is just really so that we can kind of not have extraneous variables that could be influential, like adjusting to coaching in the NCAA that could show similar signs. So they must coach winter or spring sports. We chose winter and spring sports just so that we had enough team and individual sports to be compared. Um, Team sports in this instance are seen as sports that can only go as a team to championships and win as championships, whereas individual, they can win as team or individual, go to nationals as team or individuals. So the instruments that will be used is the MBIC, which is the Maslow Burnout Inventory for coaches. That's demographic questionnaire, which can be seen at the bottom right here, semi-structured interviews and short answer surveys. So essentially, IRB will hopefully send their approval. We will send email to coaches within the NCAA, send follow-up emails every 2 weeks, 3 times. So that's our 8-week period. If they reply, they'll be taken off the master list so that they do not get continuous emails. We'll then collect the data, run it over, conduct interviews, transcribe interviews. And so those that will be included in the interviews are those that scored highest and lowest in the MBI, just so we can see and find out the factors that are influential for them. So the data analysis is a one-way ANOVA that will be utilized to test and measure the relationship between type of sport and level of burnout. The data from interviews will be transcribed and demographic information will be listed and described. There will be limitations, which are listed below: low response rate, not including coaches that are left because of burnout. Coaches who have experienced burnout may not reply because of their symptoms, et cetera, et cetera. So this is just a very quick overview of what my proposed study would look like. Thank you.